Welcome to Royal Secret. A royal cold war is brewing behind the gilded gates of Denmark's monarchy, and it's more explosive than anything we've seen in recent royal history. What happens when family ties fray under the weight of crowns, titles, and hidden resentments? The stunning silence between Queen Mary and Princess Marie has shattered any illusion of unity within Denmark's royal family, and now, insiders say, Queen Mary has drawn a royal red line. There will be no olive branch. No return. No reconciliation. This isn't just a family feud, it's a full-blown royal rift threatening to divide the House of Glucksburg forever. In today's gripping exposé, we dive deep into the drama behind the headlines. Why has Queen Mary reportedly turned her back on Prince Joachim and Princess Marie? What caused the royal rupture between two women who once smiled side by side at official events? And what message does this send to the rest of the world about forgiveness, power, and the future of the Danish monarchy? Grab your tea, because the court of Copenhagen is boiling. To understand this growing royal scandal, we must go back to a time when the Danish royal family was celebrated for its unity, modernity, and progressive image. At the heart of this family were two brothers, Crown Prince Frederik, now King Frederik X, the future of Denmark, and his younger brother Prince Joachim, always in his shadow but never far from public affection. For years, it seemed the brothers shared a close bond, even as their lives took dramatically different paths. Frederik married Mary Donaldson, the Australian-born marketing executive who would become Denmark's beloved crown princess and eventually Queen Mary. Their union was hailed as a fairy tale. Their four children, Prince Christian, Princess Isabella, and twins Vincent and Josephine, only further endeared them to the Danish public. Joachim, meanwhile, lived a life of contrast. After a divorce from his first wife, Alexandra, Countess of Frederiksberg, Joachim eventually found love again with Marie Cavalier, a poised and elegant Frenchwoman who quickly earned respect as Princess Marie of Denmark. But behind palace doors, not everything was as picture-perfect as it appeared. Sources close to the Danish court have long whispered of jealousy, hierarchy, and resentment simmering under the surface, especially when it came to royal roles, public favor, and the ever-complicated issue of titles. And then, in 2022, the fragile foundation finally cracked. It was a move that shocked not just Denmark, but the entire world. Queen Margrethe II, Denmark's longest-reigning monarch, stripped four of her grandchildren, the children of Prince Joachim, of their royal titles. Suddenly, Prince Nikolai, Prince Felix, Prince Henrik, and Princess Athena were no longer princes and princesses. They would become counts and countesses of Montpezat, noble, yes, but undeniably a demotion in the eyes of the world. The Queen insisted this was for their own good, to allow them a future free of royal obligations. But Joachim and Marie were devastated. They claimed the decision had blindsided them and deeply hurt their children. Princess Marie went public in rare, raw interviews. "It's never easy to see your children being hurt. They don't understand why their identity is being taken from them," she said. Joachim, for his part, didn't hold back either. "Communication could have been better," he said, pointedly. In royal terms, these were explosive words, a public break with protocol and an unspoken signal that all was not well in the royal house. But perhaps the biggest shock wasn't Queen Margrethe's controversial move, it was Queen Mary's silence. As the storm unfolded, Queen Mary, then still crown princess, remained noticeably absent from the discussion. She offered no public support to Joachim or Marie. No statement, no gestures of sympathy, no behind-the-scenes olive branch that insiders could point to. And now, more than 2 years later, as Queen Mary ascends Denmark's throne alongside King Frederik, the distance between her and Princess Marie has grown into a gaping divide. According to multiple reports from Danish and European royal watchers, Queen Mary has refused to extend any sort of invitation or reconciliation to Princess Marie. When Prince Joachim and Princess Marie expressed interest in returning to Denmark, perhaps to take on new roles or repair relationships, Queen Mary reportedly declined. The message, though never spoken aloud, was clear: "There's no place for you here." This is the story of a queen who has built her reputation on diplomacy, duty, and discretion. Yet when it comes to her own family, she's made a decision that many see as unforgiving, perhaps even strategic. Could Queen Mary be protecting the crown from further drama? Or is this a personal feud too deep to mend? After the title debacle, Joachim and Marie made the extraordinary decision to leave Denmark altogether. They relocated to Washington, D.C., where Joachim took up a post at the Danish embassy and later a defense position for NATO. It was framed as a career move, but insiders say it was also a royal exile. Marie, too, adjusted to a quieter life far from Copenhagen's spotlight. But she never stopped voicing her concern for her children's identity and well-being. Interviews with French media painted a picture of a mother torn between royal expectations and maternal instincts. Despite the distance, both Joachim and Marie expressed hope that things would eventually improve. They hinted at returning. They spoke of duty. They left the door open. But now, it seems that Queen Mary has closed it. And the question hangs heavily in the air: why? Sources close to the palace have proposed multiple theories behind Queen Mary's alleged refusal to reconcile with Princess Marie. One theory: loyalty to Queen Margrethe. By standing firm on the title issue, Mary may be signaling her support for the former monarch's decisions, even at the cost of family harmony. Another possibility is power dynamics. With Mary now queen, and her children, especially Prince Christian, heir to the throne, stepping into more prominent roles, there may be little room for Joachim's family in the royal spotlight. Then there's the personal angle. Those close to both women have hinted at a deep personality clash. Mary, diplomatic and reserved. Marie, more outspoken, especially when it comes to her children. Could these differences have created an irreparable rift? And finally, there is the public optics factor. Mary and Frederik are working tirelessly to project an image of a modern, unified monarchy. Reintroducing Joachim and Marie, especially after the title drama, might reignite controversy. For Mary, perhaps the choice wasn't personal. Perhaps it was political. Royal house divided. Frederik caught in the middle. While much of the media spotlight has focused on the frosty relationship between Queen Mary and Princess Marie, there is another player in this royal saga whose silence speaks volumes: King Frederik X himself. As Denmark's monarch and Joachim's older brother, King Frederik is unavoidably entangled in this deeply personal drama. Though he has maintained a strictly diplomatic posture in public, royal insiders say the tension is deeply uncomfortable behind the scenes. According to sources close to the palace, Frederik has attempted to be the quiet mediator, often trying to soothe tensions between his wife and his brother without taking sides. But it hasn't been easy. In private, it's said that Joachim feels betrayed, not only by Queen Margrethe's title decision and Mary's indifference, but by his own brother's refusal to challenge those moves. One royal commentator described the situation as a crown that came at the cost of a brotherhood. And yet, Frederik is under tremendous pressure to protect the monarchy, now more than ever. The Danish people expect stability. The world expects unity, and the royal court demands loyalty to the reigning queen, which is now his wife. Caught between the woman he married and the brother he grew up with, King Frederik is walking a dangerous tightrope, one where even the smallest misstep could trigger a constitutional headache and a public backlash. The Danish public has long admired Queen Mary. Her poise, charitable work, and effortless transition from Tasmanian commoner to European queen have made her a beloved figure. In fact, in multiple polls conducted after Queen Margrethe's abdication, Mary ranked as the most trusted royal in Denmark, above even King Frederik himself. But not everyone supports her position in the growing family feud. Danish media outlets, once careful to avoid reporting on internal royal tensions, have begun publishing more frequent and pointed stories about the Queen's cool demeanor toward Princess Marie. Some public commentators and cultural critics have openly called for reconciliation, arguing that in a modern constitutional monarchy, family unity is a powerful symbol. One editorial in Berlingske, a leading Danish paper, read, "If Queen Mary is to lead this monarchy into a new era, she must not only embody tradition and strength, but forgiveness, too." In contrast, others side with Mary, applauding her strength and discretion. As one royal analyst put it, a queen must protect the institution, even when it means making personal sacrifices. Joachim and Marie went public and spoke out against the crown. That's not how royalty works in Denmark. This divide mirrors a larger cultural conversation happening across Europe. Should royal families evolve emotionally, or maintain their mystique and stoicism? Marie's growing media presence, desperation or defiance? Princess Marie has not faded into the background. In fact, she's become more visible in the international press, giving interviews in France, supporting charitable causes abroad, and even making pointed remarks about her family's exclusion from royal duties. Some see these moves as calculated, part of a public relations strategy to win sympathy and pressure the Danish crown into a change of heart. Others argue that Marie is simply speaking her truth, a mother protecting her children, a woman caught in a storm she never asked for. One thing is certain: her media appearances have not gone unnoticed by Queen Mary or the royal court. Royal sources suggest that Mary sees Marie's outspokenness as a breach of royal etiquette. In contrast to Mary's polished silence and loyalty to palace discretion, Marie's interviews may appear, to Mary, as airing royal grievances in public. This divergence in media strategy might be a key reason the Queen has reportedly refused to reopen the royal circle to Joachim and Marie. To Queen Mary, this isn't just a family conflict, it's a question of loyalty, discipline, and control. Children at the crossroads, princes and princesses caught in the rift. The saddest part of this saga is undoubtedly the impact it has had on the next generation, especially the 4 children of Prince Joachim. Prince Nikolai, once one of the most photographed young royals in Europe and a fashion icon, has since stepped back from royal engagements entirely. While he has built a successful modeling career, those close to him say he still feels deeply conflicted about his lost title and fractured family ties. Prince Felix, Prince Henrik, and Princess Athena have largely stayed out of the spotlight, a choice Marie has encouraged. But that hasn't protected them from the emotional fallout. Friends say Athena, especially, struggled to understand why she was no longer a princess in the traditional sense. For a child growing up in royal circles, such an identity shift can be a painful and confusing experience. Meanwhile, Queen Mary's children, especially Prince Christian, the heir to the throne, continue to rise in royal prominence, with full titles and duties ahead of them. The contrast between the cousins is stark, and many in the public have noticed. In an age where royal families try to present themselves as modern and inclusive, this unequal treatment of the younger generation has raised questions across Denmark and beyond. Is the monarchy sending the wrong message about value, lineage, and favoritism? Royal historians weigh in. Is this the new normal? Historians familiar with the Danish royal family point out that internal tensions are nothing new. Queen Margrethe herself endured decades of criticism for favoring Crown Prince Frederik over his younger brother, with Joachim often seen as the spare, a theme familiar to those who follow other royal families like Britain's. But what makes this situation different is how public it has become. One royal historian noted, "We've entered a new age. Royals are expected to be open, empathetic, and human. But the institution itself demands control, hierarchy, and tradition. The tension between those two forces is what's tearing this family apart." They also note the dangers of letting personal grievances go unresolved. Once a queen begins her reign with a reputation for exclusion rather than inclusion, it can define her rule for decades. Mary must be careful. The world is watching. The Danish royal family may be small by comparison to Britain's sprawling House of Windsor or the ancient power of Spain's Bourbons, but it holds immense symbolic weight in Europe. Queen Mary is the first Australian-born queen in European history, a fact that once made her a beacon of modern monarchy. Her every move is studied, dissected, and compared to other reigning royals. Observers in Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, and the UK are reportedly watching this family drama closely. Why? Because it mirrors global royal struggles, balancing modern values with traditional roles, dealing with spares, and navigating family drama in the public eye. If Queen Mary fails to resolve this conflict with grace and diplomacy, it could influence how other monarchies approach their own family tensions, especially with younger generations pushing for independence and transparency. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.